board. Everybody joining us one by one. Uh, we have some, I think, 30 members, is it? They are slowly going to join us. So this is being the first day. I would like for the members who are currently online to be sort of like giving an introduction. Uh, Going forth, we will just get to the book, but I think it's fair to get to know each other first, and it will take us far because this journey does not just start here and ends in a couple of months, but it will keep on going, and we should be having acquaintance with each other. And I think that's the best place to start. So most probably we'll start with introductions, and then we'll go to the preface or the prelude of the book, and then most if we have time left, we will continue with the introduction of the book, and we'll start with the first page. So this, as I said, is a public forum, and it means that we are going to discuss the ideas and especially the book. I would like for the first person to volunteer. Who would like to go first? Some of you have already sent the messages in the group introducing yourselves. But if Ganesh Bhai, can you take it away? You can give a small introduction and why you would like to join this group, and what you found to be interesting or in Madhyas Darshan.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you very much. I'm Ganesh Khanna from Delhi and about to settle in Dehradun. So I joined this forum, that is the forum in Hindi which is going on, that is Jan Samvad, and I really enjoyed that particular forum. But there was one thing, that some of the words I was not able to comprehend. So it was my desire that if someone starts this particular forum in English, that will be wonderful. And it will be wonderful not only for me, rather for many who are unable to understand Hindi. So thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you. It's a very, very great effort. In this way, this particular thing will reach globally. And I know some of the people who are connected with Jeevan Vidya and this coexistential idea, who are living abroad, but they are very keen to learn these things. So by starting this particular form, you have done a very wonderful task, and I'm really thankful that you have started this. And I hope it will be very successful, and the objective of starting this will be successful. Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you very much.
Great, great. So we have actually met Ganesh Bhaiya before in the Hindi discussion that we have in the mornings in the at 7:30, and it's great to know him and his family. And we are trying to. We just had a discussion yesterday of why war is not an event that is necessary on this planet. So that was a great event that we had yesterday. You can have a look at it in our channel, and. Yes. Anybody else want to take it away?
I
Introduction?
I can go next.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hi. Sorry, I'm not turning on my camera because I'm outside. So,
Okay.
my name is Ananya and I live
Ah,
in Mysore. So, I've recently completed my Adyan Bindu Shivir in Hindi
right.
in January from Achoti. It was Surinder Pal Bhaiya's session. And
Right.
before that, I've done two Parichaya Shivers in person. And so the reason why Madhya Darshan attracted me or has drawn me in completely is I had been following permaculture principles and trying to live sustainably for a long time. But the major gap in that way of thinking was like the human relationships. And that's why, like, a lot of people try to build conscious communities, but they fall apart. And I think that's the gap that I found that Nagraj ji has addressed so deeply. And so that's why it feels very complete to me. And the reason I joined this forum is for the English. So although I am a Bengali and I have never had to use Hindi so much before in my life, but just to understand the philosophy, since September, I've been reading a lot and been part of all the online support groups, etc., that are there. So my Hindi vocabulary has improved considerably, and I'm able to express myself better and better in Hindi. But still, having the same thing, going through it in English just helps get more clarity. And so that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Didi. We are going to expect you to turn on the camera next time because right now it was just Ananya and we could hear your voice. But great to know you. I just didn't catch your place. Where are you from exactly?
Mysore. I live in
Mysore.
Mysore currently.
Okay, great, great. So yes, so Didi is has done some adhyans, introductory adhyans, and now she wants to join the English version. And I would like to say before anything we start, this is a book reading session. So might be you are expecting that you will get some detailed explanations of the same, but what we are going to do here is I will say that I'm not qualified as such. We might have some people on the group or the um, list that are able to give you a comment or a clarification of the same, but we are going to focus on reading the book. Like we can have a discussion on a line that we have read, but it will not be a far-fetched explanation that we are going to look for. We are just going to read the book as it is said. Some of the words that are there, we will redefine them and we will try to understand. It is like a walk together. Nobody is leading anyone here in this group, and it's just a walk together, and we are going to see how far we go. Yes. So anybody else now we can tick off as giving the introduction. Ganesh Bhaiya was there, and now Ananya Didi. Anybody else?
Hi, good evening.
Good
Shreyanshi
evening.
Jain this side. I
Yes.
have done two introductory sessions of Sombhiya, and both were of Sombhiya only. And then I did a Adhyayan session of Shambhiya as well from Bhilwara. And I'm here on the platform because it's just that I am more comfortable towards the language English, and understanding such deep Hindi words is a little difficult for me. So I'm trying to understand and know Madhya's Darshan better in order to um, I would say in order to fulfill the gaps I'm having right now in my life. So that is the reason I'm here. Thank you.
Great, great. So Shriyanshi was one of the first person who was on board with our group. We have actually not met, but she wanted to join the English version, and yes, so here we are together, and we'll see where we go. I mean, how far we go. Yes, I think Ajay Bhaiya wanted, Anand Bhaiya wanted to say something. Your mic is unmute.
मैं अनम्यूट ही रखता हूँ जनक जी. I'm mostly
Okay,
on unmute only, and I have uh,
okay, okay.
I
Anybody
I
else?
wanted to
Uh,
make this very clear. I am, if you are just going to read this existing translation, whatever it is done,
right.
then I don't think I would be very much interested in it. I tried reading this book at least five,
Uh-huh.
6 times. The
Right.
way it is written, it just puts me off. I just feel so bad. Ki, okay, how
Uh-huh.
such a nice content from such a clear and transparent method gets distorted by just
Right.
trying to just do line by line translation. So that is one of the things that I have been pondering
Right.
over a lot of time. Ki how do we make it
Yeah.
come out with the basic intent that all this could, all these people have fantastic great intent of wanting to make it available for more people, but that somehow I think is still we are missing the bus. We have all got a lot of work to do and a lot of area to cover, but I
Right.
am very clear that I don't want to read the message because it really confuses and puts things in the wrong perspective.
Right. I think the thing is that maybe the translation was done maybe word by word, and that's one of the reasons that is not
Not
understandable.
word by word.
But
I've tried it. They've tried to do it as sentence by sentence translation,
right.
but the construction, the grammar of Hindi is different. No? The subject,
Right.
word, predicate, the structure, the adjectives, the nouns, the prefix,
Right.
the sub.
Right.
It's a different kind of construct that is required for us to be able to explain exactly the same message in English.
Right.
And my intention of joining with you was to try to create some base blocks from the ground up,
Right.
and be open for any corrections, be open for any changes, be open for anything. And what we say is coming out of our understanding of what is the reality that we have seen through these Hindi books of Babaji. Okay, so
Right.
the Babaji, whatever he has written, he has tried to explain reality as is visible. And whenever we read his books, we tend to see things as he described them.
Right.
And the picture that we have, that we need to reproduce using the medium of communication, could be anything.
Right.
But that picture has to come out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when I read this book, I've read it on maybe not less than 10-15 times.
Mm.
I've tried to read it whole. Tried to read it by paragraph. I've tried to read it and understand. Okay, let me try correcting 2-3 sentences. But every time I do 3-4 pages, I think I'm lost.
Right. Right.
I somehow feel I'm not able to do justice to the message that should come out.
Right. Right.
So
I
I
think
wrote my own different. This is not a total reproduction, but certain salient points that I tried writing them online. I found that more fulfilling. Okay, I'm not able to write the whole damn thing, but at least one section of it, which I feel is making sense.
okay. Yes.
So
Yeah, so I think Anand Bhaiya, you are also right that it's a book that is very hard. In fact, the people who are reading it in Hindi also had a hard time, and it comes to the point that where we are surrounded by a place or a world which is full of either this or that, and by either this or that, and I mean I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible because there are new people joining here also, but.
correct.
There are people who are theologists and religious people, and then there are people who are materialistic people. So Madhyas Darshan is like something new and an alternative way of thinking, which actually fuses both the goodness of both parts. That's what I'm trying to understand, and I'm what I've understood from it. But keeping in mind of why existence is what it is as we see it. So
Yes,
um,
existence is
I
coexistence. That is what
yes,
we begin with.
right.
Yeah.
So I actually took a disclaimer that I'll not be able to explain it much because see what happens is if that happens then I'll be in a position of being a leader, and that's what I was trying to avoid. So it is a
I understand.
discussion.
None of us, neither
Yes,
you nor me, want to be the leader. That's very
right.
clear.
Yeah. So it will be a discussion, and we are also going to be discussing the same thing. It's not just reading. So definitely, Anand Bhaiya, I hope we can do justice to your intention also. And yes, it's great to if you can join also and see where we can go together.
Let me join for 3-4 days. Let's see how it pans
Yes,
out. If
yes,
it is
let's
in
do
a
justice.
discussion mode, then that would be something. It would help all of us. And if it is just in it, because I
Mm.
joined those 3-4 sessions which those people did of the Vyavahar Darshan.
Ah,
And I've discussed at length with Spencer. He's so clear about everything, and when he reads the books, I feel, oh, look good.
ah,
Spencer, let's talk later.
ah,
Because
okay.
at least that's one person with whom I have interacted a lot.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Mm, mm.
Okay. Great, Anand Bhaiya. Great. Okay. So anybody else? Ajay Bhaiya is raising his hand. Yes, Ajay Bhaiya.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
All right, so this is Ajay. I'm from Rewari, Haryana, and I have a little bit of Putna
Bhaiya,
introduction.
your voice is a little bit muffled. I think you have your mic a little bit. If you can correct that. Yes, go on.
Can you hear me
Hello.
now?
Yeah, yeah. Much better.
So, hi, this is Ajay. I'm from
Hmm.
Rewari, Haryana.
Hmm.
I have, I'm a software professional with 12 years of experience. And I had been, apart from this, my professional experience, I have been very much focused on the way people interact, uh, uh, what different mindsets do they have. And I have also done the brainstorming around the economic system that we have, the systems that are in place, the political systems that are in place, and how the perception, uh, how different people have different mindsets and all of that. And I have also tried to go through uh, the philosophy of Madhyastha Darshan. Um, I, to me, so far the philosophy puts a clear picture, tries to put a clear picture, but I see some gaps at the level of, so far whatever I have done one Parichya Shivar which was online for 7 days of a couple of hours daily on a daily basis. So I have done it online, but I'm spending a lot of time to understand, what are the key areas of focus. Uh, I'm not a good, uh, reader of books, so I have do try to go through the books, but I don't really focus um, on the content over there. I just want to get onto the key areas which which are trying to be communicated. So far, what I have found is I do find uh, some clarity uh, in Madhyas Darshan philosophy, but uh, I feel that there is a huge work that needs to be done in bringing the clarity. How can we contextualize the knowledge? So one thing is objectively getting the knowledge, wherein we can do these sessions to understand what the philosophy is trying to say. We can all understand, but when it comes to applying or contextualizing your knowledge to different situations, to different scenarios, that's where I believe we lack the focus. And I'm working on the same thing. Um, uh, um, in a separate, I run a community wherein we try to take up real the real time problems that people face, and on the spot we try to figure out the gaps, and on the spot we try to fill out those gaps. And for the same, we are trying to create a community framework wherein we could identify that people, where are they located, where are they facing the issues, in which
Right.
areas of life are they facing the issue. So
Right.
kind of a mind geography that we are trying to create.
Great. Yes. So Ajay bhai, I believe you left a message in the group also, and apart from the what we are trying to understand here is also that see when we have problems that are we are facing today, as you said, you are out there as a person who tries to find out solutions to the problems that we have today, and I would say that most of the time, if not, what happens is that we are looking at a solution which is a result of a mistake. By that, what I mean is that there was a small fable I had read before that one time there was this water was flowing and it was just overflowing, down the mountain, and somebody was just trying to clear the mess which was happening down there. And it's like it's a metaphor. Basically, what was happening is that there was water coming from up of the mountain, and there were people trying to put the sandbags and barricade the water from coming into their town. But then there was a child, or the metaphor is basically thinking out of the box, or maybe a way new way of thinking. So the child went upstairs and he's on top of the mountain, and he saw a big tap, and he turned the tap off, and then the people never got the problem. I mean, the water was basically a tap running up the mountain. So I think what we are trying to solve here is uh, trying to fix the problem just at hand is not the way to fix it. As in, if we try to fix it with economics or with current situations or with current agendas that we have, like for example fixing the war, we cannot fix a war by putting sanctions. That's what we are trying to do. We are putting sandbags. We are trying to sanction somebody who is doing the war, and then they will just create a new way of escalation, and they will create new friends and new foes, and all these kind of things happens after that. So what is the reason of war? For example, we discussed yesterday was that people have lack of trust, and it is starting with the self. the lack of trust within the self that they will not be having survival for tomorrow. And so they are starting to gather, they're starting to hoard, they're starting to have this kind of economies, and then this multiplies in the state level, and then the country level, and then it keeps on multiplying at the world level. We are all exploiting the earth, and yet earth has its own cyclicity. I'm trying to tell you everything in one day, but yeah, we will definitely discuss it. You want to respond, I think? Yes. Let's take a quick response.
So my focus is not, whatever happening at the global level is something that has to do with the governance.
Right.
But we are not taking. My focus area is that within the family we face a similar situation. So if
Exactly.
in the family our leadership is not at that level wherein we could avoid those situations, or we could respond to those situations in a positive way, it
Right.
means that we have some gaps. And at the economics level, if we don't have something of exchanging in between us without a financial transaction, that means that it is there are some gaps at the level of society. If finance has to be the basis of exchange, then it will take us to the place where we are currently. So my thing is that my focus is basically on the family level, wherein I try
Great.
to fix issues in my family, or
Great.
try to fix issues in others' family,
Right.
and it needs to be done on the spot, and it needs to
Right.
be identified at the level of mind.
Yeah.
What actually, what is the where is the focus area? So at the level of mind, we're trying to identify that what things are not understood, or what things have been misunderstood. Those
Great.
key areas
Uh,
which needs to be focused and understood in the correct context.
you have said it brilliantly. It starts with me. It starts with my family. What I can do to bring harmony and resolution within the family, and that is the most we can do. There's also another saying that your ego ends at your nose. Anything that above, like ahead of your nose, is not your business. So it's like a great way that we are starting up this discussion, and we have great members here. It's about 7:25, so I think we should split the introductions in a couple of days. That will give room for some little bit of reading also, and we cannot just continue with the introductions the whole way. So what we'll do now is we'll take two more introductions, and then we'll start with the prelude, so that everybody gets to do like on the same page, and we start the sessions without any delay to the introduction. So anybody else wants to go?
Bhaiya, I would say that Rakesh Bhaiya is with us.
Yes,
I think
yes,
he
I
has
just
joined.
realized.
It will
Yes.
be wonderful if he can put some light on it.
Yes, he was traveling, I believe. Rakesh Bhaiya, can you join?
Bhaiya, I'm actually traveling, so won't
Yes.
be able to speak much. I'm very
Okay,
happy that all of you are reading the book.
great.
So wish you all the best, and we'll
Yes,
be happy to join in the subsequent sessions.
great, great. Rakesh Bhaiya is one
प्रणाम
of the.
राकेश भैया, प्रणाम।
Yes,
Namaste, Bhaiya.
राकेश भैया नमस्कार भैया, कैसे हैं? बहुत दिन बाद बात हुई आपसे।
जी, जी।
नमस्कार भैया, नमस्कार।
Rakesh Bhaiya is one of the Prabodhaks, and he worked with English, and I think I am giving him a little bit less than what he deserves. But the much I know, he's a very humble soul. And we went to his house once, and I remember that we were greeted with open arms, and we see what happens at the end of the day is this is the good things you remember about them. You don't remember the qualifications or what they are, and all these things. The bhav jo hai, what the how do you say
हाइट
the
ऑफ
bhav?
ह्यूमिलिटी, हाइट ऑफ ह्यूमिलिटी से भी कुछ अच्छा शब्द है ना, तो राकेश
Yes,
भैया की हो सकता है। इतने शांत कि
yeah,
आप तो मतलब
yeah,
यू कांट थिंक ऑफ न शांति और भाव जो उनके हैं ना, इट इज ऑलवेज ऐसे
yes,
लगता है कि बस वो ही इज ना रिकलेक्टिंग द बुक वर्ड बाय वर्ड, मतलब वो वहीं लगे रहते हैं। इज जस्ट
right.
इतने ऑडियोज बाबा जी के साथ इतनी तरह से, मतलब वो जो कलेक्शन राकेश भैया ने जो दिया है ना फॉर द ह्यूमैनिटी, इट इज जस्ट अमेजिंग, अमेजिंग।
Yes, yes,
पेनलेसली, इतना पेशेंटली बाबा जी बार बार सर
Right.
मैं नहीं समझा बाबूजी, प्लीज बताइए, एक
Exactly.
बार और बताइए,
Yes, yes. That's
एक
the
बार
one of the
और बताइए, एक बार।
that, that's one of the things
ह्यूमिलिटी की
that
तो हाइट है ह्यूमिलिटी की, हाइट है
and
राकेश
look at the
भैया।
humility of Babaji. He used to teach him so nicely like a small child. He's giving his
एकदम
and
एकदम।
by the way, Rakesh Bhaiya is the author of the English translation, so we have
We
to
are
give
going to
hats
read.
off. Yes,
He is the person who wrote that, right?
yes, the translation. Yes, so this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
really a great privilege and a great experience that we are having him on board on the first day. Yes, thank you very much. I think Prakash Bhaiya's hand is raised. Yes,
Yes. Namaste. Hello, everyone.
namaste.
My name is Prakash Ugui. Actually, I joined probably 10 minutes just behind the timeline. So
Okay.
anyway, very nice to see all of you. I'm very much impressed to join the team Jeevan Vidya.
Mm.
Now because become artificial intelligence and all these things. But I hope I will I will get some opportunity to learn some more Jeevan and Vidya, and it will be very it will be very joyous and very learning platform for me to be with you in the coming days. I base in Salimar Garden in Delhi NCR.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
See you in, in due course, all of you. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. One more. We have time for one more. Anybody can raise their hand and I can just pick them.
Mm,
Yes, Neelam Bhavi. Yes.
yes, namaste to everyone. This is Neelam Shah. I also stay in Kutch. Janak Bhai also stays in Kutch, but we are still 70 kilometers apart. And this group I have joined because I wanted to connect to people uh, who can do some difference to the vocabulary and stuff to spread more awareness to people who can understand English. Otherwise, uh, I can understand in Hindi and write it very well, but still I can connect more in English too, because I write a lot of blogs and poems in English. And I think there are some of the words or feelings that totally do not justify with English, because Hindi is got such amazing words that you cannot get an equivalent. But I think in the further sessions we can use the same words and of Hindi and uh, then get to the point what Babaji wants to tell. I think that will be a great way of reading. So, congrats to you, Janak Bhaiya, to at least lead and take this initiative. Thank you very much.
Yes, Didi. Neelam Bhabi, I call her Neelam Bhabi because she is the wife of Dr. Hemang Shah. And whenever we are in Mundra, that's where they are right now. And they are basically a couple who are into her husband is into Ayurvedic and he's an eye surgeon also. So we have this sort of gelling and we are like, a group that we are traveling together. Sometimes we do travel together. We have our holidays together. If I have a session with my schools and there's some lunch time that I have to go, I go to their home and I have lunch there. And so it's like a really joyful relationship that we share with their family. And he was his father. That means Dr. Hemang Shah's father, Dr. Chotelal Shah, was the one who introduced us to Jeevan Vidya. And we are privileged to join their family also like this, and it's great to have you with us together also. Thank you. Okay, so it's 7:30 now. We are trying to stay above the schedules, and let the introductions now. There is some comment. Let me just check. Okay, Ajay has asked a question. We'll try to go through the questions also. I think, Bhaiya, if you can stay with this book for a couple of days, a lot of things will be clarified. As I said, that the whole thing has to be understood first. We cannot go and try to solve a problem with a sword which is not how do you say it? I mean, just take the metaphor, not take the violence of the sword. But if a sword is not properly matured in the fire, and you go out and start fighting with it, it will just bend and it will break. So that's what I'm trying to say. Let's read the book. Let's go along with it. Your question is really deep. You are saying that how do we? Why is it has the approach? What could be the alternative approaches? So we are trying to see what is this approach. Let's see what this approach is and how it tries to engulf all the situations and all the problems, and how it can be a solution to everything. That is what it is claiming. And it's just not a claim, it is saying that you go and check it. If there is any mistakes in this, you go and check it. So this approach or this book reading is all about it, that we go and read the book, we try to understand it, and we find where there are gaps after we have read it. Because once we start you know just in the middle, we start finding loopholes, or we finding holes, we will really not get the gist of it and will not get the depth of it. So I believe if we have any sort of query or questions, we can just tag along with them, and we can see the answer is on the next page, on the page which is forthcoming. And that's what I've actually learned with this darshan. I was a very uh, uh, pessimistic person, that how can a solution be for everything. And I was an organic farmer before I joined Jeevan Vidya. And in organic farming, there's something called a balance, where you are intercropping and all these things that you are taking care of to avoid the pests. Now, curiously enough, this is actually explained in Madhyas Darshan. So imagine a philosophy that is a solution towards the whole of humanity living in harmony, but then it has a solution for something simple as this, that whatever is the insects are there, the bacteria are there, the viruses are there on the soil, are there to support and to balance out what is not needed or what is needed. It's just there. And the nutrients that are in abundance, those bacteria become inactive, or they become inanimated, and those nutrients that are needed, those bacteria are activated, and it just spells vyavastha, or it just spells balance. And that was a great realization for me. Okay, this is a really good answer, and if this answer is for madhyas darshan, sorry, for organic farming, then this answer could be for everything else. And that's how I started to find beauty in madhyas darshan. Yes, Ajay bhai, you wanted to say something? Your hand is raised.
Yeah, actually, I want to add over here that I do appreciate, the way you have described, tried to explain it. For me, it is more like, if I want to set the bars up, because so far, I think people have contributed to this, this philosophy by translating it, by putting a great effort in trying to explain it through different mediums. But my uh, the output that we desire from going through this study uh, is that, if we are able to create a mind map uh, out of, if I were to say that, what is the summary of the book, we will go through the book, that's not a problem. But by the end of the book, as you proceed towards the end of the group, if you are not able to create a summary, or if you are not able to create or generate a mind map wherein you could figure out that, these are the different areas that it has focused. Now,
Right.
when we try to look at a particular situation, we should be able to pick and apply that particular concept over there. So it's just like that, I have read through the complete how the car works, but when the car comes to me, I should be able to troubleshoot it, to be able to find out that, this is the missing thing, and I need to focus on this particular thing, and let's get the car fixed. So by the end of the book, if we are able to generate that mind map, or if anybody questions me after
Right.
reading through the book, if anybody questions me, I should be able to identify that this is the area wherein
Right.
because what happens is, when you try to do the critical thinking on a certain perspective, okay, you are not able to bring a different perspective to the same problem, okay, to the same scenario. I can put the same scenario in different words, or with a different view. So when you approach certain thing, like the book is going to give you a certain terminology, a certain perspective. Okay, so in that perspective, because yeah, it has been built by a certain author, so questioning it in that perspective is, it is tough, it is difficult, because it needs time to process that perspective. And when we are thinking in a particular perspective, it is also very challenging or very tough to bring or to think out of the box and bring another perspective into it, into the picture. So that's the reason, I'm trying to put it forward that, if somebody uh, brings or explains a scenario with a different perspective, they are bringing it with a different perspective, then uh, uh, it all we should be able to decipher that, and we should be able to apply this particular philosophical concepts in that scenario as well. Thank you.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. In fact, I would actually say that I am in the same boat, as in we would like to have solutions for any problem, and this darshan actually is, and it has been claimed by authors and all those people who have done this darshan for many years. They've dedicated their life to it, and they are saying that this is the only solution to. And in fact, the words they use is, "This is the alternative. This is the only alternative." So it's actually worth being humble to this darshan. I think more often than not, what we do is we try to be a sort of in a rebellious mode. How can be, as I'm talking about myself, I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm talking about myself. When I started to go through this, as I mentioned, I was into organic farming. I started finding solutions. Then I started getting answers through it in every aspect of my life. I'm seeing that this is becoming a solution to everything. So now I have to go deeper into this, because it's something like you get a taste of something, and the taste is so good that you have to find the source, how and why and what made it such. And this is not just me. There are people who have been with Babaji and they have felt this taste, and they have felt it so deeply and so humbly that they have left everything, they've dedicated their lives to it. And in fact, my wife and we are on the same path. Actually, we are dedicated more than 10 or 12 hours every day doing the same work without any tiring, in fact, because this ultimately is the soul's business. This is the soul is getting some give and take here, and we are talking with the soul directly with this darshan. So this is the way I'm trying to put it humbly, that let's walk together, let's see where we are going forward, and let's be open to the darshan first, because without it staying, I'll give you a small example. I know I'm taking a little bit more time. We have just 20 minutes left, but it's worth getting this in the first place. uh, there is a small picture. Just picture as in front of your eyes. You have the vision of a mountain, and then there is a vision of a valley. Now, if you look at the mountain, you will see that there are no trees on top of the mountain, right? Because there is a place where the rain falls and it just trickles down and it goes to the valley, right? And this was told to me by a teacher, and I will never forget this, because I applied it to every situations that I have. I was a very, very stubborn student as a in my young years, and I used to question everything that my teacher said. In fact, I have been a teacher myself for the last 10 years, simply because I've never found good teachers in my life. I just have a very few mentors of very few teachers in my life that have changed me completely. The other teachers were just like, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I just never found any joy in it. But there are very few teachers. And this is one of the lessons that this teacher has taught me, is that you are like a mountain. That's what the teacher has told me. And you are looking at a mountain, and it's not having any color, or it's not having any space, or it's not having any function for the trees or for the birds or anything like that. But look at the valley. Look at where the valley is. Look at how it holds the water. Look at how the trees surround the valley, how the trees and the birds come, and then the valley is there, and then the fish come, and then all these creatures and all these things are surrounded. So the teacher was trying to say, trying to tell you the lesson very quickly. The teacher was trying to say, don't be a mountain, be a valley. Because when you become a mountain, you'll be barren, you'll have no trees growing on you. If you don't have any trees, you don't have any birds, you'll not have any ecosystems with you. But if you're a valley, if you are able to hold some water, And that means you have to have depth within you. You have to have a sort of courage to be humble, to be a very deep person. And by depth, I didn't mean what the teacher meant like that, but I found this as a very humble lesson, and I'm applying it to everything I'm getting angry with. I'm getting angry with the roads, that the traffic potholes, and the people who are driving the cars, and all these things. We have so many issues and so many problems, but whenever I think that I'm getting angry, I bring up this. I like literally force my brain to bring up this lesson every time, and I find this lesson to be very important. That let's be a valley, let's be something that can hold the waters, and if you hold the waters, it will bring the all the lushness and the greenness and the small animals surrounding it. Yes, so we have something like 18 minutes left. I would like now to start with the prelude. The prelude is actually not inside the PDF that I've sent in the group. So what I'll do now is we'll share with the audience here. Let me just share with the, just give me 1 second. Okay, I believe the prelude is visible. What I'll do is I'll just read it. It's not definite when humans first appeared on Earth, but we have no doubt on whether humans exist or not, as we ourselves are living evidence of that. But what is a human really? We don't know this even till today. Eons have passed since humans have been trying to discover and understand themselves. Humans have been yearning to know and understand their own inner self. We have been thirsty for knowing our own identity and have been making efforts for it for thousands of years. Today, our endless researches in the chemical and physical domains, but we are still oblivious about human beings. The study of humans have could not happen so far. So I think what this is depicting is that we have tried physics, we have tried chemistry, we have done biology, we have done psychiatry, cosmology, astrology, all these things that we have done, but we have not understood the human being and its brain and how it functions. And clearly, the mind is an enigma. If not, the anatomy of the human being is clear, but the mind is still an enigma. So I'll just continue now. A. Nagraj is a person like us. He came to solitude of Amarkantak in a quest to understand human nature. Amarkantak is a well-known pilgrimage center of India and the place from which the river Narmada originates. Sri A. Nagraj, who we call Babaji, left his village, Agrar in Mysore province, and came here in search of answers to some questions. So I'll just pause here. I hope everybody is with us and able to see the picture. So what this is showing is that A. Nagaraj came to the source, which of the Narmada, which is in Amarkantak, and he was looking for the answers to his questions that he had in his mind. He continued his exploration in spite of all odds: dense forest, bitter cold, heavy rains, wild animals, no arrangements for food, and every other kind of discomforts. Let me just see if I've not gone down. Let me scroll a little bit so that we can stay together. Initiated by Sri Chandrasekhar Bharti, Shankaracharya ji of the famous Srinagar Math, Sri Nagaraj ji carried on with his austerities according to traditional methods. In the course of his exploration, he attained. I just lost myself a little bit. He attained the state of samadhi. So here it's saying that he was a part of a very prestigious family where they used to read the Vedas and they used to be in part of that Shankaracharya. And now he was in Samadhi and he stayed a lot of time in Samadhi. Samadhi is basically a state of awareness of the soul and the mind differentiated, and you are looking at yourself from a like it's like an out of body experience, but you're looking at yourself and your mind separately. So this is just a very crude way of saying what is samadhi, and he was staying in samadhi. But let's see what he says. Not finding answers to these questions in the state of samadhi, he pursued samyam. Babaji understood existence as coexistence. As a result of his pursuit in coexistence, he understood human as a combined form of Jeevan and body. The realization of the sentient and insentient nature being saturated in omnipresent power, omnipotence, which we call by names such as God, Truth, Brahma, etc., also happened. So let me just take a couple of seconds here and try to explain what is being said here. He was in a state of samadhi, means he was in this sort of, a crude way of saying is it is in a trance where you are just disconnected with your body and you are able to visualize that you are lost of your, like your, in Hindi it's said that you are, your vritti are shant, like your vritti goes dull, or your vritti is uh, submerged in a sort of silence. And in that state also, he could not find the answers that he wanted. And so he kept on pursuing the Samya. Now, the Samya, what is he saying is that he understood existence as coexistence. That means that there is the Jeevan, which is this, like again, what we are trying to say is in the crudest form I'm using, the Jeevan is a combination of the mind and the soul. And this is where the technical cheese things come up and we'll start getting confused. But look at it as a simple way that there is the body, then there is the soul. Now the soul is not just the soul, but it is a combination of the mind also with it. And so we are trying to get to in terms with it. We are trying to understand this as we go along. But that much I've understood from this is that he saw the coexistence of both, that the physical body is there, it is combined with the Jivan, and that's how we are existing as a human being. So he understood human as combined form of Jivan and body, the realization of the sentient and the insentient nature being saturated in omnipresent power, omnipotence. Now, omnipresent power, as we can say that we can simply understand this as if we take a room and we fill it with all sort of stuff, like maybe it's just uh, an antique, an attic you have in your house, and you have filled it up with a lot of old stuff. Now, if you remove everything from the room, there will still be air left in that room. Now imagine if you remove all the air also from the room, then you are left with something called space. And this is what is the meaning of omnipresent power. So everything that is existing around us, everything that we see, everything that we feel, touch, everything, and even in fact, all the atoms are existing in something that is called the space. So it is in this he realized that this is the coexistence of the soul and the physical human body, and it is the coexistence of this again in omnipresent power, which is the space. So this is what he saw. This is what he's saying, that he saw this in his deep trance or deep meditations that we are putting it. These words, again, I'm saying that is I'm coming up with these words. I may be wrong. Somebody can just unmute and correct me if I'm also not taking it right. Because as I said, we are working together, and some of us are a little bit more well learned with this darshan. So the way I'm going here is with my understanding. I might be wrong. I'll take full responsibility when I'm not having it said it properly.
So I'll add something here. No?
Yes.
See, the whole concept of coexistence is of the formless and the form. No, when he had his samyam that he did, the whole concept of samyam as described in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras were to attain siddhis. Siddhis are known as extra natural powers which a human is capable of attaining by following certain procedures. So
Right.
he studied those procedures and he decided he had no use of the siddhis. So instead of following the normal procedure that was done to get the siddhi, he wanted to decide a different procedure. I'm adding more information just to give context and understanding so that we get that message very clearly. So when he did the samyam, what happened was he found nature coming to him with answers to whatever questions he posed to nature.
Right.
So nature answered to him in the form of letters in the sky is what he is described. Or his eyesight was just as clean as you dive deep into the water, and if you open your eyes, you see the pure, unadulterated vision. That is the kind of vision that he had, and what he found was the coexistence of the formless and the form.
Right.
The formless was full of energy, and it was the reason for the forms being in motion. So the
Right.
formless and the form coexist, and those coexistence is what he experienced. And when he tried to understand the forms, he found both the sentient and the physical atoms. He saw both those atoms lined up in a sequential order.
Right.
The sentient atom was something that he could clearly decipher and distinguish as something that was residing in different bodies, and that is what he described as the evolution, vikas kram vikas. So as evolution happened, how human evolved was understood, but he could see the essence of the human being as the sentient soul.
Right.
And that was a different atomic structure in comparison to the other physical atomic structure that he saw around him in the form.
Right. Great. So Bhaiya has explained it well that there is the atom, which is the basic unit of all existence that we see surrounded. And then there is the Jeevan, which is actually जिसको कहते हैं पूर्ण structure. There is a complete structure, which is basically in all human beings and in some animals that are able to recognize. And this will go into detail. And again, as I said, that there are people who are new here, they'll start getting confused. So basically, what we are trying to say is that Jivan is a sort of a part of a soul, which is part of also with the mind, and it is in all human beings. And this is the way that we are trying to understand that, okay, what we are seeing or what we have come here on this earth to do is to realize our own self. And I can just, we have just a couple of minutes, so I'll just actually stop here and I'll just conclude here that as human beings, what we are doing right now is sort of seeing the surrounding with our five senses, and then we are going about with conclusions. So this is the biggest, like sort of a misconception and the biggest problem that has occurred with humankind, because where we see ourselves as a Gyan Avastha, or where we are seen as a knowledge order, the human being is higher than the animal. Yet what we have surrounded by is mostly atomic things, stuff made with physical matter. Then we have even biological matters that we can see, the plants and all these things, and then the animals are there. So now we have not seen anything higher than that. So we're not able to fathom something above that. So even if you see the nature of a human being, it is still confined to the ways and the norms of the animals. I'll give you a simple example. If you look at a dog and it goes to a new territory, it will start marking its territory. And we can all see this. Every time we have a vehicle parked somewhere else, there is a dog which is nearby, especially this is in India. I'm sure the audience also are going to be amazed to, or at least not be able to imagine this. As I said, see, this is what the problem is. We in India know this, that when we park a vehicle somewhere, the stray dogs come and start peeing on that vehicle and the tire of the vehicle, and this is how they mark their territory. But this question or this example will not work with foreigners, or where they don't have the stray dogs, but they get it, they can imagine it, and they can get it. So this is how we are going to go forward with the darshan. We'll start imagining and we'll start staying with the course, by just taking in the examples as we go along. And let me continue with the example. We are taking this world as a territory. Even our homes, we build the walls, we have the doors, we shut out people that we don't want that to come in, because we see human beings or other human beings as a way of intrusion. We don't see them as their knowledge order. We don't see them as the highest uh, potential. And we are also incapacitated ourselves to give them the knowledge. So this is like a dual sword. It's cutting both ways. We are ourselves confining within the norms of the animal. We are marking territories out there. We are putting money value on everything, resources, when this that is not a resource. A forest is not a resource. It is a way of orderliness for human beings. For human beings, for animals, for everything that is there. But highest order right now is the human beings. So it is a vyavastha, it is an orderliness for human beings. What we are still doing as territorial people, because we are not people yet, we are still animals. By we, I mean myself also. We are putting a territory on it. We are putting a plot name on it. We are putting a plank on it. We are saying that this is for sale, this is not for sale. We're cutting down the trees, we're flattening that land, we are putting a market value on it. This all is happening when nature never intended this to happen in this way. Nature invented the knowledge order of the humans to consider themselves and to identify themselves and to know themselves. And that is the task of the human beings, to understand each other through the knowledge that we share with each other. And that's what the whole course is going to be about. And I've just run short of time. We are still not even clear with the prelude. But as I said, this is not a rate, like a race to reach anywhere. We are taking it slowly. We are taking it with great gratitude. I think a few minutes we can spare to understand that how much we are given as a heritage or as a gift, be it from nature, be it from the existence itself. Because if we look at it as at the eyesight level, we will see something which is a resource, or which will see something which is able to give us profit, or will give us gains, will give us fame if we have that, or if we own that. But if we go above it, we look at the existence's point of view. What is existence have in mind, if it had a mind, in fact, which it doesn't. But what I'm trying to say, I hope you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. If we look at it at existence point of view, like I have another example for you. When we say good morning, there is a place that there is on the same earth, there is somebody else who is saying good night. And so this is actually a way of a relative truth. It's not a truth as a truth, but it is a relative truth based on your perspective, where you are, where you stand, where you are existing on geographical on this planet. So it's good morning here, and it's good night there, and it's good evening somewhere else. So it's the same point of time in earth. If it had a particular time, even the time is different. At same, like if it had a quantum clock, if you had a quantum clock, there are all different words happening everywhere which are different. So how is that the truth? So that is not the real truth, that is a relative truth. And what we are going to get through this book, or what we try to understand from this book, is going to be the real truth. What is the real truth? Why are we existing? Why is existence promoting so much, that we have all this readiness around us? So much abundance is there once we start to see it. How much gratitude we should be having for all these cycles that are happening out there. Every breath that we breathe out, and we are taking in the breath of the trees that had worked in the morning. and that is working so nicely. And we are somehow draining the aquifers, we are draining the land of its trees and the birds and the beauty of it, and the animals that are out there doing their work. uh, the simple termite we discussed yesterday, how if the termite was not existing, the planet would be full of trees, just the surface of the whole earth would be full of dead trees. But because of the termite, it is eating away into the dead wood, converting it to the soil again, and we have this abundant land that is fertile and is ever growing, and you know just cycling everything again to make it anew. So, yeah, we will say a small conclusion that we want to go ahead with this book with utmost humility, gratitude towards what we are about to experience, because what we are seeing in this world is not just not worth it, or not, we need not we invest so much on it. But I'm trying to say is that if we see an alternative and we see space in our heart to take it, we will have a new world for our children and for ourselves indeed. Because we cannot continue with what we are seeing in front of our eyes. We are having so many systems that are failing, and we are having so much of resources of the earth. And this is a global problem. It is not just that we are having it in one country or whatever. It is a global crisis that we're having. Energies, resources are being drained, water resources are being polluted, air is being polluted. We have to do something, and it comes with the understanding within the self first. We're not going to go out pointing fingers to anyone. It's about us understanding. Once we understand, we are able to enact, not even enact, we will become the person that is ideally suited to be existing on this planet. We will be the inspirers. We will be the rainbow preservers. We don't want to be killing the rainbow. By rainbow, I mean the Vyavastha which is out there, the abundance out there. Let's not create a world which is full of greed or full of no, heartlessness. Let's just start to see a different way or a different form. I wished I had finished with the prelude so that we could have gotten this gist that how big the darshan is actually. But I
Janak
think we
bhai,
are still together.
I'll just
Yes.
add, Janak bhai, let's sleep over it. Now, the word Vikalp
Yes.
is not exactly what is mentioned by Babaji. What Babaji is saying is resolution and completeness. So
Hmm.
the very word Vikalpana as an alternative doesn't
Right.
make sense. It is not what Madhyas Darshan is pointing out.
Hmm.
Madhya Darshan doesn't say an alternative. It talks of either resolution or the completeness. And let's keep it as food for thought.
Yeah.
So, what I would want to try is to, since we are going to be deliberating in English and we want people in English to understand,
Right.
alternative is not what Vikalp means.
Yeah. Okay.
And if we start from something like that, then we understand. When we say Vikalp, we are
Hmm.
talking of resolution,
Right.
we are talking of completeness,
Great.
making the incomplete complete.
Right. Yes.
That is
Bhaya's
what is
Bhaya's point. Yes. Yes.
so this is the problem that I face when I try to read it. I feel at times I feel like laughing. At times I feel, okay, what is this funny thing about language? That why
Hmm.
should language be so complicated? Why
Hmm.
can't it be that simple? That okay, when I'm saying okay, I'm talking of resolution.
Hmm.
Why can't I have a word that doesn't have other synonyms?
Right. Right.
Alternative and Vikalp is a synonym in one context.
Right. Right.
है ना? When we
I
say
think.
Vikalp,
I
it
think
means
Bhaiya. Yes.
in
I
some
think.
context. When in
Hmm.
the context of Madhyas Darshan, it can never be said as Vikalp as an alternative.
Hmm.
It is Babaji in all his audios has never said it is the alternative. And when we say it is the alternative,
Hmm.
that sounds so. I really feel like okay, I know I'm giving up. I'm happy
Hmm.
with learning it in Hindi.
Hmm.
I'll read it in Hindi. I'll understand it in Hindi. I
Hmm.
don't want to get that feeling of that this is the alternative.
Hmm.
Babaji has always offered it as a proposal. He has never asserted anything anywhere. He
Right.
said it is for you to evaluate. You
Yes. Yes.
check up. You
That,
find out.
that is definitely the case, and Yes, Neelam Bhabi wants to say something.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
just wanted to add, Anand Bhaiya is, I understand what he wants to, what is his purpose, and I can understand what he is trying to say. I would just like to say, like Babaji has a paribhasha for the words with their real meanings. So I think it is our like we all know English, so it is our duty, or probably it could be a good way of finding new words of English to give a English paribhasha which can define what Babaji wants to say. I think in that process, if we go by, it will be a great journey to be with you, Anand Bhai. I just with a few minutes of your discussion, I could get that you're a very intellectual person, and it will be great to be have you in the group too. So just be with us for a few days, and it'll be great that we can find good paths
Mm.
and
Yes.
I,
give proper
I am with
meaning.
you, Didi. I am with you always, and that is how we Janak and me started only with that. We want a paribhasha that is in English.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually said that I'm not qualified enough. I'll read first. That's how we actually started reading first. But Bhaiya, yes, this is very like correct of you that we are lack of words. But I think the gist of it is that we are here to learn and study, and let's stick to that. And definitely, as I said before, I need to be corrected also sometimes because I am trying to find out the meaning of it the much I can. But what is happening is that I have experienced something, and that is the experience is that I have experienced the joy of working for Darshan. And that is what I'm trying to say, that if this is the case, and I'm now in my journey towards the understanding this truth, as I said, it's not just a relative truth, it is a truth. So let's see how we can falsify it. Like, let's see, because it is a proposal, as I said from the beginning. Let's see how we can go and walk towards it, and let's see where we can see get, okay, it's not working out here, let's see. But after we have gone through it all, because if we start looking for the mistakes, it will be in the next page, the answer will be in the next page, and they'll be like, ah, okay, we didn't wait that long. So yeah, definitely, as we go along, we should be corrected, and we also should be keeping in mind that we will be different people once we know or understand the whole picture. Like, it's just a painting right now, maybe the sky is being painted right now, we will say it's just blue, but once the whole world is painted, the cities and everything is painted, the greenery and everything is painted, it will be a different picture. So yeah, I think we'll have a small. It was a great beginning, and we'll have now a conclusion. I'll just end with this meeting with everybody here who have joined. I am hoping that you will join again tomorrow from the same time. And it was great being introduced to these people. The rest of the us who are going to join tomorrow will do this again for a couple of days. Like, we'll have an introduction for half an hour, and then we'll just continue with the reading. That's, I think, how fair enough we can go with uh, this parichay with everyone, and also with the reading. So it was great having you all, and I hope you have a wonderful good night, and we'll meet us tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you
Bhaiya.
everyone
Thank
for
you.
being there.
Thank you,
It was
everyone.
really,
Thank you.
yep.
Okay.
Wonderful. Good night.
Good night.